Hey there, Go community. This week we're letting you know which voice actors we think should play us or narrate for us in a game based on our lives. In news, Halo's going to be lacking some features at launch, and a new Saints Row game is on the horizon. New games discussed include 12 Minutes and Foreclosed. You might be surprised by our thoughts on both games. This is The Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 360 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Monday, August 23rd. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my friends. A guy who has issues, lots of issues, but they're comics. Zack Parkerson, what's up, man?
Wow, I wasn't expecting a comic book introduction this week.
I mean, I have to admit, I stole it from a dad joke tweet I saw earlier today.
Okay. So, I was just wondering where it came from.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
All right. Okay, well, thank you.
Also joining us, a man who needs no introduction, Mr. Chris Behrensmeyer. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
We've missed you. You've been gone for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you're surviving the nightmare.
I hear you, man. I hear you. It's getting a little nutty out there. But you've been gone for a couple weeks. What have you been catching up on game-wise?
Oh, God, so many things. I started playing Hades, finally.
Okay, yeah, Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's kind of starting to push other games aside for me. So
Hades will do that.
Yeah, it's pretty stellar. I'm really digging the story. I'm still trudging through Binding of Isaac. I have one ending to go.
That's just insane that you put that much time into that game. I thought I put a lot of hours into that game.
Yeah, it's definitely become my workplace addiction because I have it on Switch and I can play it on the go. And it's so short and fun.
So you've seen more endings.
Jokes.
You've seen more endings than I have. Do they get more messed up?
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
like kind of horrifically messed up almost.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Wow, that game comes from a dark place, man.
It sure does.
Oh, you just wait.
Yeah, I've seen some of them. I think I'm still about 5 or 6 endings short, but it's a good game.
So. And then I've also been playing Mario Golf Super Rush.
I didn't know you picked that up.
Yeah, I was at GameStop a few days ago, and somebody had just brought in a copy of it, and I picked it up.
Nice. What do you think?
It's pretty adorable. But as far as the golf game goes, it kind of irritates the piss out of me.
Why?
Why are you playing? You have playing three very different tones, man.
I know. It's only going to get stranger as the year goes on, too. No, because like a golf game, like I like to take my time. And this game's like, no, run to the ball, keep hitting.
Oh, yeah, because you're basically racing the other opponents.
Does it not have different modes?
It does, but I'm playing through the adventure mode, which is
like a campaign.
Kind of a weird campaign. But they really like, oh my God, keep running, you're falling behind.
Mm-hmm.
Is this Camelot again?
I don't know.
Camelot, the developer?
Yeah, I don't know if it is or not.
Okay.
But no, I really do like the golf mechanics in it. It's just the race mechanics I'm kind of like, eh. So instead I went and picked up What the Golf. I'm going to start playing that probably tomorrow.
That game's great.
That's a great game, but you haven't started it? You
Nope,
have no idea what
I haven't started it. I have no idea what I'm in for, but I have to take a break from Binding of Isaac for a while because that game is it is soul sucking.
It's apparently all consuming.
It really is. Well, so some of the endings, like you actually have to beat like certain bosses 5 times.
Right. And which means you have to survive through the entire labyrinth to get to that boss 5 times.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it's definitely fun, but yeah, it's time for a change of pace, especially with some games that are coming out very soon.
Oh yeah, tomorrow.
I know that's probably going to eat my soul for a long time.
Aliens. What's it called again?
Aliens Fireteam.
Fireteam.
Does it not have? I feel like it has one more word in there.
It's like Fireteam Elite, I think is what it was called at one point.
Yeah.
So
that cover,
I just call it Fireteam.
The cover art for that game is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've read some early reviews that say that fans of the Alien franchise will enjoy this quite a bit, but the game does feel like a $40 game, not a $60 game.
Don't care.
No, I know. You're going to love it.
That's exactly what you want, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. We should play it together.
We probably will.
Isn't that kind of the curse of the show, though?
Yeah, we say we will and then we don't.
Yeah, so kind of
Let's go play Star Wars Squadrons. What do you guys say?
Maybe that'll get us to finally, we'll all boot up for Squadrons and we'll just play Aliens instead.
Oh, yeah, I like it. By the way, Mario Golf Super Rush is developed by Camelot. So good call.
Yeah, okay.
The reason that name sticks out to me is from the GameCube one, where like Waluigi would always say Camelot at the beginning whenever you turn the game on. Camelot.
Yeah, you know what I just learned the other day is that Waluigi was a Camelot creation.
Really?
I had no idea.
I did not know that either. Is he in Smash yet? That's when
no, he's like Smash, right? He's the obnoxious exclusion. Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Zach?
Well, if I rolled credits on 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, it remained a masterpiece until the end.
Did that game release this year?
It was at the end of last year.
Okay. How long did it take you?
Well, it's going to terrify you, but it took me 38 hours.
That's not terrifying.
Well, it is for Zack.
What, 38 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't think that's terrifying at all. I was just talking to, is it Andrew from our community that finished Witcher 3 on hard mode, and he showed his number of hours put in that game was over 200. So,
well, that's a bit of a different beast.
No, I know, but like you say, it's going to make you nervous. Like 38 hours does not.
We talk about liking talk about liking short games all the time on the show.
No, I know, but if it's a game you really enjoy, you're not doing it for review, you're playing it just for fun.
That's kind of the insane thing. It's like 38 hours and the story never dips or lulls at any point.
That's crazy.
It's unbelievable. Like, it's designed for every 15 minutes to like end you on some character's cliffhanger, one of the 13, and it does it the whole way through. And every twist develops on a character or on the plot itself, and you're slowly figuring it out. It's so well done.
I was this close, Zach, to picking it up because it was on sale on the PlayStation Network. I was real close. You
have to know it's story heavy going in, but man, it really uses video games well, the medium.
See, that intrigues me.
Yeah.
A lot. That uses the video game medium. Okay, I want to know what that means.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to give that away.
Sure, absolutely.
But I got the platinum trophy even, so
wow.
Applause to me. I think it's my 37th platinum.
Nicely done, sir.
So
nice.
It was a fairly easy one, but it felt good.
It always does when it's a game that you love, right?
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get the platinum at the end of Telltale's Walking Dead, you're like, cool.
Yeah, I survived.
He gives it to you, right? But otherwise, everybody pick that up. If you're wary, get it on a sale. But otherwise, this week I've been playing Avengers War for Wakanda.
Oh, I'm excited to hear about this.
The video game that just keeps giving, I guess. My love-hate relationship with Avengers continues. Well, it's super cool, actually. So it's Wakanda. You can explore the Wakandan palace, go hang out in the throne room, all that. What's really cool is, especially the first mission, is just a solo Black Panther mission, no team or Avengers or anything. But it feels like Crystal Dynamics. You're doing a lot of platforming. You're exploring an ancient, Wakandan panther tombs that only like the Black Panthers can enter, and you're solving puzzles. Gleaned from the environment. It's incredibly Tomb Raider.
That's what I was just going to say. It sounds definitely like a Tomb Raider game.
It was friggin' rad. But then the Avengers show up and it gets a lot less interesting. They're fine. So yeah, it's a huge expansion. They say it's 8 hours. In reality, it is probably 3 or 4.
Wow.
I assume they're counting like raids and stuff, and I don't mess with any of that in this game.
No interest.
Also, they updated the UI since I last played the game, and the last time I played the game was when they put out the most recent Hawkeye expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've changed the menus, and it's even worse now.
Ugh.
What?
It's unbelievable. They've made it so cumbersome, right? Because I always, in all of these RPGs, I always just scrap all of my extra inventory for the parts, so I never really have to think about needing stupid parts that I hate for upgrading.
Mm-hmm.
But to do it, they've like added an extra 2 steps now. It's really weird.
So, completely unnecessary addition for the sake of addition.
It's absurd, and they also like tuck the skill tree away. It's just like this tiny little button underneath your character portrait now. Instead of it's like, so you have to click that instead of like you could just tab over to its own page before. Anyway, all of that is just really annoying, and I'm sure that happened months ago or something, but I have no idea what that's there for. But all of the Black Panther stuff is cool. Claw is a big villain. He shows up. He's doing a lot of invisibility, teleporting stuff.
Andy Serkis.
No, they somehow did not secure Andy Serkis. They did get Steve Blum of Spike Spiegel fame.
Mm-hmm.
He's Claw, and then Christopher Judge Kratos is T'Challa.
Oh, that's cool.
It is. It definitely takes some getting used to.
Does it sound like Kratos?
No, that's what's so shocking. It doesn't even sound like Kratos at all.
So he's really putting in the deep vocals on.
It's actually like he's using a little bit of a higher pitch even. He's really doing it. He's got the African accent and everything. He's really giving it his all. If I had not known it was Christopher Judge going in, I would not have known that.
Interesting.
It's very different. So props to him.
I think that the Marvel's Avengers game is proof positive that events like E3 are important. Because do you remember how hyped we were walking out of that presentation, and we didn't even get to play it?
Correct.
Like we were just, okay, this is it. This is going to be amazing. And then you reviewed it. It wasn't. But it looked like it was going to be, didn't it?
It did. Well, what they showed off was the good part, which was the campaign. Mm-hmm. And that's the same story for this War for Wakanda. Is every time the Avengers shell game shows up, you just get so annoyed. Because while you're just doing T'Challa stuff and being awesome Black Panther, it's rad. But they've slowed down character progression, so you get skills at you get slower pace than when it launched. Which I remember when they announced it, I was like, "Why are you trying to dig this game into a deeper grave?" And I gotta tell you, it sucks.
Man.
Like, it made it so much harder to level up. But while you're just doing the campaign stuff, it's really good. But then you keep getting hit over the head with, oh, let's go do this side mission. Oh, here's your vendor. Check out this outfit that's on sale. You want to buy, Black Panther just came out. You want to buy the ability to upgrade him with a character card? It'll be $10. Do you want this sweet suit? $15. What do you say? There are new attack animations for Black Panther. They are $8 each.
What?
For animation. It's disgusting for a $60 game. Why not just let me pay you $10 for Black Panther and the whole campaign and just leave me alone?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I think that's the most heartbreaking thing every time I go back to Avengers is there's a really good game, probably a great game hidden underneath this, but they just have all this microtransaction, please play me more nonsense, and it just is a complete turnoff. I would still, if you have it, this is a no-brainer, play War for Wakanda, because it's the first time we've ever had Wakanda like in a video game like this, right. And it was really awesome, although it was a reminder that Wonder Woman's never had a game, and that's a crime.
I don't understand that at all.
It's unfathomable. But this is darn near a Black Panther game, especially when you have the missions that's just him, and you just really feel like it's a Black Panther game. But man, Avengers, what are they doing? What really I wanted to throw my controller at the frickin' screen was, how we're always begging for DLC to give you that refresher on how to play it? Mm-hmm. They don't do that for the combat skill tree jumping anything. But when you get to the new hub area, they force you a tutorial where you get the tour of each vendor and what location they're in.
Well, because they want you to
make sure to spend money.
Yeah.
How disgusting is that, though? Like, so they're aware you need to refresh the players who haven't been back since March, but we're not going to refresh you on how to play the game, but we are going to refresh you on how you can spend money in the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's gross, man.
That is gross. I agree.
Unbelievable.
Does this make you want a standalone Black Panther game? Like a full-fledged?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, well, you know, I mean, I'm a comic book crazy person, so I would take a game based on almost anybody. But it really was like it was a cool sign that, like, you know what, any Marvel or DC character could probably hang with their own game.
I'm shocked that it hasn't been happening. Like, I really can't. But just it's like a standalone Captain America game, a standalone. I guess we have an Iron Man VR game.
You have Deadpool.
We did.
That game was okay.
It is weird. They're not just like finding teams and farming these out,
right? Because they would sell so well. I just don't.
Especially
understand
like, you know, Warner Brothers is a game publisher. You think they would just be knocking out DC games left and right?
Right. But I don't know, man. Just seeing Wakanda is just so freaking cool.
It's a great concept. They really go deep into the lore, and what I really liked about this, like, Black Panther's been king for a number of years, so he's just in charge. Mm-hmm. There's none of the coming of age story. He's just the guy.
So you don't get the Spider-Man or Batman thing where we hear the backstory,
right?
Again.
Which, would be frustrating, but it's really cool. And he's got a little friendship with Captain America. It's really nice. A little bit of warmth between those two guys.
That's cool. That kind of makes me want to play it, but I haven't even played the base game, so
yeah, it's not going to be worth getting through all that.
Can you just can you just jump right into it though? Like, do you have to?
I think you can. I don't know, because when you boot it up, it presents you with like 5 different options to click on, which is like the main campaign, Hawkeye, and then War for Wakanda, and then like jump straight into a multiplayer lobby. So I guess you could, because you start over with a level 1 Black Panther.
Okay.
So
but the game doesn't teach you how to play it, so I'd be lost.
It wouldn't matter. Yeah, well, you'd be screwed no matter what. You'd be right. Well, it's also, as I mentioned in my original review, the combat at Avengers is about as deep as, you know, a mobile idle RPG, right? You just smash square until your cooldowns reset, and then press those buttons, and then get back to smashing square. It's not like you're really thinking while you're playing Avengers.
Right. That's one of the ones I missed, and I have it. It's sitting right there for me to play, and I've booted up to the title screen. The campaign, Miss Marvel storyline is really good. But anyway, that's Avengers, guys. If you have it, play it. If not, this is not a reason to. This will not sell anybody on Avengers alone, I don't think. All right. As for me, I know I talk about pinball a lot, but I have to tell you about a game that I had. I played the Back to the Future table on Pinball FX this week. Guys, I had like the pinball game of my life. I was playing it for so long that I had to stop it because I had to go do my fantasy football draft. The game wouldn't end. At one point, I had 4 different multi-ball things going on. There were 7 balls on the table at one time, 7 or 8. And I got like a top 200 score in the world. It felt really good. But Chris Owens was over at my house for the other night, and he wanted to try Skydrift Infinity. And I know, CB, you talked about that game a little bit when you were when the week that I was gone, and basically said, you know, Mario Kart with planes is kind of like Diddy Kong Racing, which is true. And I had played like the first level of it before I heard your review, and I agree with everything you said, but played some others this week, and I got some, man, you're going to call me sacrilegious, but I got some split-second vibes from some of the destructible stuff going on. Zack. Like, I mean, it's not as clever as Split Second, but I mean, there is, you know, you're flying through an ice cavern, and there's like things that are blowing up and destructing in front of you, and you have to dodge around them. It just felt really cool. Like that game I feel is underappreciated, and it's just such a fun arcade racer. I know that part of the problem, CB, is you were playing Flight Simulator right when that game came out, right?
Yeah.
And you know,
I've also never played Split Second, so.
Oh, okay. But I mean, you had been playing what, like 13, 15 hours of Flight Simulator, which is hardcore simulation. I mean, it's not arcadey at all, right? And this is just straight up arcade, so it had to be just a strange shift. But I would almost challenge you to go back and give it another look, man, because it's fun. It's really fun. Like it reminds me of, like, I feel like I haven't been excited about Mario Kart in a long time. Like a long time. Like I played 8, but mostly like to play with my students. 7, I think, was on 3DS. I never liked Double Dash a ton. I haven't been like super excited for Mario Kart since like Mario 64. And this got me those excited Mario 64 vibes playing this one. So take a look at that one if you haven't already.
I'm actually still waiting for us to do Mario Kart Circuit Live with both the cars.
I still haven't set mine up, man. It's sitting in my classroom. I've never played it. I didn't know you could do it with 2 cars, but we should totally do that.
Yeah, because I've got the Luigi and you've got the Mario.
We should make that happen for sure this week. Let's try to make that happen. Do you have room in your house?
Okay. Yeah.
I don't have room in my house. Would it work on a driveway? You can't do it on a driveway, right?
No. But I've got where the kitchen is, the living room, and then the hallway. Like I've already got a little circuit that we use.
All right, we should film that or something to see what that looks like. But and then I also let Chris play Lawn Mowing Simulator. He actually asked. He's like he read the review and heard us talk about it and wanted to see what it was, see if I was crazy or not. He played it for about a half an hour until he finally handed me the controller and said, "Take this away from me before I get sucked in." He was really getting into it. So, and my friend Tyler, who is also in our fantasy football league, we had a little chat message going on, and he said, "Scott, I can't believe how much into Lawn Mowing Simulator I am. It's ridiculous." So, I'm not alone, guys. Lawn Mowing Simulator is fun.
You guys have given me crap before for some of the simulator games that I've played made by that same company.
What other ones? What ones did we give you crap for?
PC Building Simulator.
I think I gave you a hard time. It's just that I don't connect with it because I don't know how to build a PC for real. I guess that'd be a good way to learn.
Well, not really, but I mean, those simulator games, they're not expensive, and even though they're like pretty mind numbing, they're entertaining. Like they do suck you in.
It's just a sit and chill and relax. Chris even made a comment. Chris Owens made a comment, something to the effect of where he just was kind of just getting in the zone and just almost like zoning out. And he was like, I gotta stop. I'm like, no, that's a good thing. Like if you're at home and you want to feel accomplished with something, but you don't want to, I don't know. There's just something very satisfying about it. So.
Mowing someone else's lawn.
You get paid for it, man.
I hate mowing my own lawn.
I love mowing my own lawn. My friend asked me to mow.
I think someone should buy up all the different simulating games and make one living life cinematic universe simulator.
Ooh.
And you start as a baby and you could just like live your life.
Baby simulator.
I'm sure it exists, and then you grow up and you're in school simulator, and then you're in painting simulator.
Walking simulator, and then we got chair simulator, and
you just stitch them all together. Be great.
Yeah, just kind of go through life, learning different skills. I like it.
Well, like I said, I don't understand why you love mowing your own lawn. If I could, I would replace my entire lawn with AstroTurf.
Why don't you pay someone to mow your lawn?
Because I'm cheap.
Well, Scott is also cheap and therefore would accept your money.
I could give Scott like 3 beers and he'd probably do it.
I have done it.
I know you have.
I have mowed your lawn before. We got to fertilize that thing, by the way. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. A little slow week this week. Just a couple big stories. First off, found out that Halo Infinite is going to be lacking some key features at launch, and we're supposed to be getting a new Saints Row game announced next week, which next week will be a very large news week, I assume, with Gamescom coming. So lots of news coming out of there. But Zach, which of these two intrigues you more?
I gotta say, Saints Row news it's pretty interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I actually really love the first Saints Row. And then, Saints Row 2 was kind of weird, but Saints Row 3 was ridiculous fun. But I think a reboot makes a lot of sense because to try to reel it back in, because they just kept having to one-up themselves. I think
with the absurdity.
I think reigning in Saints Row, and it makes sense too because they have new owners, right? So it's probably, and it's one of the biggest brands they own over at Embracer Group. So it makes sense to try to reestablish it in a big way. I think it's a really smart move.
And I think it's interesting that, like you said, it's a reboot. It's not another remaster or, whatever. It's going to be a whole new game. When's the last time we had an open world game like this that wasn't, like Assassin's Creed or, you know what I mean? Like we're like a Metropolis type open world game where you can hijack cars and just have an open playground.
I guess Watch Dogs, right? Mostly.
Yeah, Watch Dogs 2 or Legions. Yeah, Legions.
Yeah.
I always forget about that game because I skipped that one as well for some reason. But
yeah, that one came and went.
How about you, CB? Are you excited for Saints Row, or did you get into those games?
I've actually never played a Saints Row game.
No?
Perfect time.
I know. That's why I'm like, ooh, if we're starting fresh, I may give this a whirl. I own all 4 of the Saints Row games, so I've just never... They're like the Just Cause games. I haven't really had a desire to play them.
Yeah, but the difference between Just Cause is that Saints Row, I'll use the phrase that Zack just said, constantly tries to one-up itself in its absurdity. You do things in that game that are just so off the wall and insane, or you meet characters that are just so bizarre and hilarious that you can't help but keep going forward and just see what they do.
So basically a more comic-y version of Far Cry.
Sure. But I mean...
I would say it's more like if Grand Theft Auto kept going in the direction of San Andreas, it would have ended up being Saints Row.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, there's a mission where you've got a character that has a auto-tune thing built in, he talks with an auto-tune. The
auto-tune pimp.
Yes, and he speaks like he curses in auto-tune, and it just sounds hilarious. And at one point, you're riding a chariot that's pulled by 2 half-naked guys. In a somewhat realistic world, you're doing that. It's just so weird and bizarre. And then in the conversations that you have with the other character in the car, when you're driving from place to place, normally you just get in the car and fast travel. I don't fast travel. I don't even think you can fast travel in Saints Row. But it's genuinely interesting to listen to the conversations that they've recorded. At one point, the radio comes on and What I Got from Sublime comes on, and your 2 characters sing along with it. It's just.
I mean, the final battle of Saints Row 3 is, I want to say, the Statue of Liberty, but that might not be right. But what I do know is Holding Out for a Hero plays on a loop during the mission.
All right.
And it's friggin' cool. But it's also hilarious because the first game is a down and gritty crime simulator about undercover police work.
It didn't get weird till the second one when there was a big rubber ducky out in the ocean or something, right?
Right. The only weird one of the first one is that it had those insurance fraud missions where you could throw yourself in front of cars to try to make money. And that was about as weird as it got. And they apparently just really love that mini game because the second game is just all of that.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
And then the third one is just, and even the fourth one, the opening mission where you're literally the opening mission of Saints Row 4 is you climbing a rocket that has been blasted into the atmosphere, and they start playing "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" by Aerosmith, while you're slowly climbing up this thing.
I did not play the fourth, but that sounds awesome,
dude. It's so good. It's just, oh man, it's hilarious.
There's that DLC where you just go and get like Johnny Gat shoots his way back out of hell.
Uh-huh. Gat out of hell.
Get out of hell. It's so dumb. Daniel Day Kim gives a performance of a lifetime as Johnny Gat throughout that franchise.
I didn't know that was Daniel Day Kim.
Yeah.
From Lost?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, man, that's him.
Oh, man. That's a true story. Playing Saints Row the Third is the first time I ever heard Kanye West Power. And I realized how cool that song was. But I don't remember it playing in the opening mission of the remastered version. Did they lose the rights to the song, or did I just miss it somehow?
I don't know. I didn't play the remaster.
I had to go back. But yeah, even just play the opening the opening thing of Saints Row the Third, man, is worth playing even if you don't play the full game. Because it's just hilarious and arcadey and vulgar. Like, they're just swearing like crazy. It's worth checking out.
Also, skydiving while you're in a gun battle. It's great.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, like you're like literally falling from the sky, like going through, like there's like luggage and stuff. Like you're just like filtering through. It's good. This
has been your commercial for the Saints Row franchise.
Yeah. So in regards to the new one, do you hope that they stay with the ridiculousness of it, or since they're rebooting it, are you hoping that they're going to go a little bit more to their roots with the original one?
I don't think you can ever put the toothpaste back in the tube, as it were.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
With the absurdity, but I do think this is your opportunity to scale it back down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Instead of having aliens make you a superhero, whatever the hell happened in 4, it could just be a little like it could almost be like a Fast and the Furious kind of tone, where it's just like an over-the-top action movie, but it might still try to have some heart or something.
Look, you're not going to sell CB on playing this game if you mention Fast and the Furious.
Yep. Nope.
Or maybe a Roger Moore era Bond movie in terms of...
Oh, even worse. Even worse, man.
Damn it, how do I sell this? I don't know how to do.
You're like, you took my least favorite movie franchise and then my least favorite Bond. I'm like, ooh, you're taking a deeper pit, man.
I don't know. Maybe I die another day tone. But anyway, I think there's a lot of potential, especially if you can get... I would really hope they can get Daniel Day Kim back, because I just think he's the face of the franchise, Johnny Gat.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he would be essential. And of course, Keith David.
Oh, true story. I used to have, I think I told you this before, but I used to have the menu music from Saints Row the Third as my ringtone on my phone. And I forgot that until I recently booted up the remaster, because I got it on sale for like $15.
And why is my ringtone on this game?
Huh?
And you're like, why is my ringtone in this game?
Well, I haven't had it on there for years, but it was like in a Pavlovian. Like, I almost wanted to answer my cell phone after hearing the song. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's just something kind of cool about it. So, anyway, Saints Row. That was our Saints Row minute.
Who knew we had such a love for Volition's key franchise?
Oh, man. And
the way they like slowly built the connections between Red Faction and Saints Row and painted them in the same universe is also just absurd and awesome.
Yep.
Good stuff.
CB, talk to me about Halo Infinite, man.
I'm starting to get some bad vibes, man.
Yeah, you and me both.
What? You guys are insane. All right, let's hear it.
So it's starting to feel to me like the Halo Master Chief Collection all over again. Oh, we're going to give you part of it, and then later we're going to give you a little bit more, and then a little more.
They're getting away with that by calling this a games as a service. Like, Halo is now a service. It's not a standalone product.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still excited the fact that the multiplayer is going to be free to play. Of course, it's going to be on Game Pass because it's Microsoft and first party. I don't know, man. I still think the launch window of the holiday is going to be a bit of a stretch.
They're claiming it's going to happen, but it's not going to have split screen co-op. For the life of me, I could not find anything to clarify if that meant you could still play online co-op or not.
I mean, I assume if it's split screen co-op, that's going to be like couch co-op. Straight up.
My understanding was that it's campaign co-op, period.
So there's not going to be, which sucks because that makes me want to play a Halo campaign more when I can play it with somebody. I love co-op campaigns. I played through Halo 5 in its entirety with a full group of 4. Like, never played it on my own, and it was a blast. And everybody hated that game. I want to play this with people. And the fact that that's not available at launch, it's going to be available in Season 2? is very frustrating to me.
Yeah, I mean, will I play through the campaign? Probably. But I've played through every single one of the Halo campaign games as a co-op.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, and that's the thing that worries me is like, okay, when is season 2 going to drop?
Well, it's
a year?
Whenever they want to, yeah.
They did. Well, they said in that same article, everything's coming within the first year after launch. I guess for me, I just don't care because I don't like campaign co-op. The first time I play a game anyway. Like I want to play a single player to get the story, and then I will play with friends who can talk over stuff.
Gotcha.
So I guess for me, it was perfectly fine.
But I mean, if it's split screen co-op where you're both there together, like it's a time commitment. But I mean, if you're playing together, be like, hey, you just hit your buddy and like, shut up, man, I'm watching this.
No, and a good friend would be quiet during the cutscene anyway. But you know me, I like to get immersed in the narrative and all that stuff, and it's hard for me to do when someone's talking about how much their day at work sucked. You know, it's just difficult for me. I always just play through the campaign, and then I'll play through people with co-op. I do it with Gears of War as well, but it's just I understand what people wanted at launch, but it is true that they're doing something different with this Halo, right? You know, it's like that upcoming Assassin's Creed Infinite. This might be the last Halo you get,
at least in the Master Chief sense.
Right? Yeah, this might conclude the Master Chief saga, I guess.
Yeah.
And if they want you to keep playing, it's probably actually just smart generally, because you get another news bump and another player bump when you do finally put in the co-op. Because it's not like the game's going away, you know?
No. So I guess it's a very cheap and easy way to make sure that your game has longevity.
Right. Well, and like, not for nothing, guys, but Microsoft needs to get a frickin' exclusive out on the Xbox Series X, or it's just, you know, they're saying all the right things, but they can't put a goddamn game out to save their life.
It's okay, man. They're still just like the PS5. You can't find them.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's true, but I would presume you wanted something to play on your Series X.
Versus the, like 2 exclusives that the PS5 has?
Maybe it's the Xbox One's fault. Maybe it can't run this 4-player co-op yet. They got to figure it out for us losers stranded on the last gen.
Maybe I don't know. All I know is there's so many games still, man. I don't even care about exclusives right now.
Honestly, that's how I feel.
There's just too much to even keep up.
I just like it optically or in the mind share, right? It looks like they can't put out an exclusive because they just went an entire console generation without any meaningful exclusives,
right?
Outside of what, Gears 5? And I don't even know if that was I don't even know if people were thrilled about that.
I mean, I guess they have Microsoft Flight Simulator.
They did just put that out. You're right. That's a killer app if I've ever seen one.
So, I mean, hey, there's lots of people playing it, man. I still do.
No, I believe it, but it's not. You don't put the ad up in Walmart and sell a console based on that.
Speaking of the PS5, did you guys see that they announced a new model today?
Yeah, getting rid of the fins.
No, the design is still the same. They're keeping the design the same. They're making it a little lighter, and they are making it so that you can attach the base to the unit without using a screwdriver. Those are like the only real big changes.
Woo! Well, look at my excitement.
They're not putting out press. Like, calm down. They're not trying to sell PS5s off of this.
No. I mean, they're not having an issue selling PS5s, but
they shouldn't even be calling it a new model.
They're probably not.
Hey, we fixed 2 of the problems with this gigantic.
I said model. That's not what the article said.
No, because I saw a similar article that said a new PS5 model has been announced.
Well, that's what the journalist said, but
because they'll probably call it the V1.02.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's a refinement to them, probably a new SKU. But of course, if you want to get headlines and get people angry and linking back to your website, you call it a new model or something like that.
Right.
Hey, look, I am always happy to take a dump on Sony on this show, but I don't. That just seems like some pretty standard stuff.
We're gonna get so many more emails now about how we're like pro Microsoft and anti Sony. That is not at all what we're saying.
Hey, I just crapped on both of them in the last 5 minutes.
I mean, I can prove it. I still own more PS4 games than I own Xbox One games.
Well,
I own more PS5 games than I own Series X games.
That's nuts. What PS5 games do you own?
I got Jack and Daxter, Miles Morales.
Jack and
Jack and
Daxter.
Daxter.
Not Jack.
It's like, did I miss something?
No, not Jack and Daxter.
Ratchet and Clank?
Ratchet and Clank. I'm having a brain fart there. And I've already ordered like all the ones that Limited Run has done.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have not bought a Series X like physical game yet.
Interesting. Did you buy Demon Souls?
Yeah, actually I have it brand new, still sealed.
Well,
Aren't you kind of shoehorned into getting games digitally?
Only on the Series X.
That's what I'm saying.
But again, almost everything that's come out, it's been on Game Pass. Why do I need to buy it?
Yeah,
Right.
oh yeah.
Did
That's
you get Returnal?
No, I didn't.
Part of me wants to jump into Demon Souls since that's like the original Souls-like game, right?
Yeah.
That's the first one?
Not the one I would recommend starting with, but yes.
No? Is it bad?
No, it's just it's mean. Like the other ones are somewhat fair. Demon Souls is just kind of a mean-spirited game.
Interesting. Well, that's the week's news. Like I said, we're going to have a lot more to talk about next week because there'll be all kinds of announcements. Stay tuned to our social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, and all that, as I will try to keep up with the news as I can. But it's going to get a little crazy because school starts next week. So, but want to remind everybody, as we always do, that we are an independently funded podcast, which means that we pay for all our podcast hosting services, website, all that on our own. We don't have sponsorships or anything like that. And in order to get that taken care of, we ask help from you guys, the Go community, with a Patreon that we've got. And that's where you can contribute monthly if you like and are willing to do so. And we give back. We use all that money to pay for the show, as well as do a giveaway each month that where we buy a game for ourselves to review, and then we give away the copy to you guys. You can start at $1 a month, and then we start giving some extra episodes to you at the $3 level, and then 2 episodes at the $5 level. And CB, what currently is available for members that they can check out, and what's new on the horizon?
Well, the Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge episode, where Zack gets to relive his childhood a little bit, is out there. Making video game music with Grant Henry.
Such a fun episode.
Well, Grant's always awesome, so I can't complain about that. Believe it or not, we are rapidly approaching the break the seal for Scott's first Pokemon game.
I gotta play that some more.
Yeah, you do.
That's such a grind, man.
I will still play every Pokemon game that comes out. I'm surprised, knowing you, like, you're not. I don't know how you feel about it yet, so
You'll have to listen to find out.
And then we've also got a spoiler cast coming for 12 minutes.
Which you're going to hear us talk about spoiler-free here when we get to the games that we've been playing. But Zach and I have some things that we want to talk about with spoilers. So if you've beat the game and you want to hear us discuss that game at full length, be sure to check out that episode. So if those episodes or any of them that we've talked about in the past, our Break the Seal episodes, our gaming, what do we call it? The Retro Outsider, is that what you call those episodes? Retro Outsider, or our Legacy episodes where we talk about games that have an important impact on the industry. Sounds fun to you? Check out patreon.com/thegocast. We really do appreciate all those that support us and have stuck with us and supported us throughout the years and kept the show going. We do appreciate it. But now, let's jump into the new games. Zach, it's basically September, and I see quite a list here. What's coming out?
Yeah, I mean, loathe us, or woe to us when September finally does come.
Mm-hmm.
But starting off the week is a horde-based third-person shooter, Aliens Fireteam Elite, coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC August 24th. I have a feeling one of us is very excited about that.
I have no idea who.
Hoa is coming to Switch and PC. That's another indie puzzle platformer coming August 24th.
Looks charming.
Sure. There's just a lot of those, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to be a jerk. It's just hard to know which one to get excited for. VR title, I Expect You to Die 2, The Spy and the Liar is coming to PSVR, Rift, Oculus Quest, and Vive, etc. August 24th. King's Bounty 2 is a new RTS looking medieval game coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC August 24th. This is a curious release. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2, which came out a few months ago for everything else, finally comes to PS5 August 24th. I would love to know why that game got delayed by a few months on just that console.
I would as well.
Marvel Future Revolution is the next Netmarble mobile game using those fancy IP characters there. That's going to iOS and Android August 25th. That's kind of, it looks, if you look at the gameplay of this, it looks pretty robust.
Yeah?
It's got like a little behind the back. It almost looks like the Avengers console game, but better. And then Darker Skies is a War of the Worlds inspired little shooter survival looking game coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, and Xbox One August 25th. Huge release here. 15 years in the making. Psychonauts 2 finally comes to PS4, Xbox One, and PC August 25th. That being a Microsoft first party title, it will be on Game Pass. That's nuts to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember that one on PlayStation 2, right?
Yeah, that was Psychonauts, PS2, and Xbox. That game's awesome. So I'm very excited for the sequel.
Reviews are solid so far.
Yeah, the only disappointing part to me is that it only takes place 2 days after the first game, and I kind of wish the passage of time was represented more. But otherwise, stoked. Myst gets a remastering coming to Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, PC, and even Mac August 26th. That will also be on Game Pass. Proto Corgi, which is about what it sounds like, is coming to Switch and PC August 26th. Spelunky and Spelunky 2 are both coming to Switch August 26th, although they will not be a bundle or anything. They are sold separately. And then Baldo the Guardian Owls, which looks like a very isometric Zelda-inspired game with a very Studio Ghibli-inspired art style. It's going to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and iOS. It'll be on Apple Arcade if you're a subscriber there. That's coming August 27th. Very interesting looking horror game with the camera angles of a PS2 game coming out. Tormented Souls. It's coming to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC August 27th. The PS4 and Xbox One versions are coming in October. I thought that game looked incredible. I was very disappointed it's not on something I could play it with right now. Inked: A Tale of Love comes to Xbox One, PC August 27th. Another big release, many years in the making sequel, No More Heroes 3, coming to Switch August 27th. And then Book of Travels is a very relaxing looking sort of game coming to PC August 30th. Games are out, guys.
They're coming. They're coming hard.
That's insane. There are a lot of games on this list I wanted to try. That always makes me sad because you can't play them all.
Lies.
You can't with CB schedule.
Yeah, unless you have access to a space-time continuum like CB. What's CB? I don't even need to ask you because Aliens Fireteam Elite's obviously your pick of this
my Ripley's
lot.
right there.
Yes, I could see it right over your shoulder. Scott, what's tripping your trigger this week?
I mean, I'm also going to play Aliens Fireteam Elite. However, there's something about jumping back into Myst that really intrigues me because I played that as a kid and it just broke my brain. I could not figure anything out when I was a kid, and I want to go play it now and see if my, the 30 years that I've had since I played the original on my PC when I was a kid have see if I've wisened up a little bit more because I remember those puzzles being hard.
But did that game come out back when adventure games were intentionally obtuse?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Was Bungie was involved in this franchise at some point, wasn't it? Actually, I think they might have just ported it to Mac. Never mind.
Okay.
Because remember they used to do that back in the day.
That brings up a good point, though. Because this is on Mac. Is that included on Game Pass?
I don't think so.
No, it's just you can also purchase it on Mac. It's not, because I know it's a Game Pass game.
Yeah, but I mean, it's such a. I feel like it was a very important game in the lifespan of Mac back in the day.
It just,
actually,
Myst just seems like a game that should be played on a computer. And if I could play it with a mouse instead of a cursor and a controller, that would make more sense. But
I agree, it's gonna feel better there, but it's such a slow paced game. I don't really think it'll ultimately matter.
No, you're right. It's not like there's no twitchiness or anything like that. But I'm excited to see how that holds up.
For me, I'm stoked for Psychonauts 2, especially that I don't have to drop a dime for it.
Right.
That's nuts. And then I do really want to play No More Heroes 3, but I just don't think the time's going to happen.
What I want to know about Psychonauts 2 is because I had never finished the first one. I feel like that feels like a game that, especially since you just said it takes place 2 days after the original ends.
Mm-hmm.
That it would behoove me to have played the original. I wonder if I can just jump right in. Well,
from what I'm seeing in those early reviews you mentioned, it has an animated cartoon recap episode kind of thing. So I think you're gonna be okay.
All right,
I'm pretty sure. Well, they have to know that it's been 15, 16 years. Most people who are in a position to play Psychonauts 2 have never played the first one.
That's true.
True.
I mean, there's kids in my class that weren't even 6 years out.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that makes sense.
I will say, I also plan on playing Inked and Darker Skies.
I think Darker Skies looks rad.
Yeah. I just like the art style of Inked.
I was going to say, Inked looks incredible.
It's just such a unique look. I was like, I want to play it. It's adorable.
Are you guys No More Heroes fans or no?
Never played it.
All right.
I own Has Been Heroes.
Thanks for chiming in.
You asked.
They are a lot of fun, but this also seems like the kind of game that's going to be steeply discounted in a month. Not to be that guy.
All right, well, let's jump into 12 Minutes, a game that all three of us played, and we've got some thoughts on this game. Zach, you want to kind of give, for those that haven't checked this one out yet, what exactly is the game? And we'll kind of just have an open discussion about our thoughts on this one.
12 Minutes is a complete waste of time. Let's move on.
Oh, wow.
12 Minutes is a game going into the year I was perhaps most excited for.
I was because as well.
Because of its incredible and unique premise of reliving the same 12 minutes over and over again. You play as the man, and then he has the wife, and they have a special evening planned because they're celebrating the news that she's pregnant. They have a nice little dessert, and then the cop comes knocking at your door and then murders you both. And then you pop back 12 minutes and restart the loop, and your task is to break free of the time loop.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game. It is, I would say it's more point-and-click adventure game than you would think going in.
Yeah, there's no direct control over your character.
Far more than they advertise, in that I don't think any of the marketing painted that picture at all.
Nope.
No.
But that's what we got.
And okay, first I want to say I was really surprised by the voice actor cast for this.
Oh, you didn't know that going into it?
No, I didn't. So I was like, wow, because it's Daisy Ridley, James McAvoy, and Willem Dafoe.
The one true Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. They announced that a long time ago. I thought we talked about that on the show.
I may not have been on that one because I was like, wow, this is really cool. And the gameplay is such a bait and switch with me because you have that opening animation of the clock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, is this, because I was like, I vaguely remember this being animated. and this looks like a real photo of a clock. And then it gets into the game, and I'm like, oh.
Well, that's my process with the whole game. Every time I played a little bit more, I just went, oh.
Well, before we get into the
frustrating,
before we get into the frustrations, let's talk about how the game plays, because I know some people still haven't played it and are curious. So, like Zack said, you're running through this 12 minutes of this couple's daily life, and what you have to do in order to try to break this loop is you have to learn new pieces of information and use those pieces of information to be able to access new things to basically, do a butterfly effect type of situation that's going to change the outcome or change what happens so that you can stop this cop from murdering you. It's really difficult to tell you exactly what that means without spoiling anything from the story or spoiling any of the puzzles, because the game is pretty short. I think, Zack, you said you beat it in about 3 hours. I think it took me about between 3 and 4. But for instance, you might you might learn a phone number from somebody's cell phone that you pick up, and then the next time you start the loop over again, you can now actually call that phone number on the cell phone that's in your wife's pocket, which I know Zack has an issue with to begin with, but that's just a very vague way that you get information. So it's all about like restarting the loop over and over again, learning what you can, trying to set up events to happen in a specific way. And if you do a certain thing, it's going to cause the wife to do this, or if you do this, it's going to cause the cop to do this instead. So it's almost like setting up this series of events for things to play out the way you want them to in order to solve this mystery and figure out what's going on. So
right, almost like a Rube Goldberg machine of drugging your spouse.
Sure, yeah, which is one of the first things I learned how to do, by the way. I don't know what that says about me, but
it's just fun. It just really cracks me up that last week we had all these, all the uproar over Boyfriend Dungeon not having clear enough content warning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a game where you actually roofie your wife,
right?
And it has nobody's making headlines about that.
You can do more than that.
Oh yeah, you can.
Well, okay, that didn't play.
Found that out the hard way.
You can stab her. Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, there's still more.
Oh, uh-oh.
I know Scott.
We'll have to talk about that off mic because I'm curious.
I've talked with Scott about this, but this game has many permutations. To the fact that I've discovered 3 different endings so far.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've been told, there are more.
I think there are 6 in total.
6 or 7, because there's one that's actually really, really easy to get.
I think there's like, yeah, anyway. We don't have to talk about
There's one that's really frustrating because you have to do it last, because if you do this one ending, it actually like resets your game. So you have to start all over from the very beginning, which is just so stupid. It's
really stupid. Yes.
That really bothers me. CB, you mentioned that the game was frustrating. What did you find frustrating about the puzzles?
It's not so much frustrating, but you will get to a point where you're like, okay, I don't know quite what to do next.
You feel like you're out of options. I felt like I hit that wall multiple times.
And so you start doing things that you normally wouldn't think to do. And it's just like, and I died again. And I died again.
Yeah,
and I died again.
And see, on paper, that sounds like the game I wanted, which is like to experiment with this time loop and see what does or does not work. But it's just executed so laughably badly here that it doesn't live up to any of that potential excitement.
That's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about from your review. You were talking about how you had to like go through the entire 12 minutes, in order to start over again. But there were like, did you know you could like walk out the door and just reset the loop?
Right, but if you want to wait around to try that one different dialogue option with the cop, you have to go through it, and you can skip dialogue, but sometimes when you skip dialogue, it interrupts the character and it's considered rude and you get like a hostile reaction. Other times it doesn't, it just fast forwards it. You can just stand still and the clock will like auto accelerate a little bit faster while your character's like, I guess I'll just wait.
And now we wait.
Yeah, and it's, yeah, no, I did know all of that, but it's just not it's just handled poorly because if you stand in the wrong place, it triggers a different response while you're waiting for the clock. Like I said, when you skip the wife dialogue, if you skip in the wrong part, she gets mad at you and just like cuts it off. So you really have to play it careful and try to listen to most of it.
Oh, so you mean it's like real life?
Yeah, I guess. Except in real life, I'm not having a time loop, and I'm also not annoying a gamer by making them sit through it over and over again.
Oh, you know, it's else is really fun when you accidentally roofie yourself because you forget where you put the mug.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't do that.
Because you can set the table and like, oh, fill the water, sit down, have dinner. Oops, accidentally roofied myself.
Right. Or
start the time loop again.
It's also really frustrating because you can talk to the cop. I don't think that's a spoiler to say, but because of the way the game like handles its conversations, you either have to like listen to him give the same Willem Dafoe monologue, which is great the first 3 times, but it gets pretty old. But if you cut him off, in certain senses, it's fine. In other ones, he just kills you because you've been rude to him, and it's just the worst.
So you just keep stabbing him in the leg.
You can do that, yeah. I don't want to give away too much here. It's just, it's very frustrating.
Believe me, some of the did you notice the paint, like just the paintings, like I'll be going to click on something, and like I'll just be like, oops, so let me just stare at this painting again, especially the one next to the fridge.
Yeah,
I accidentally clicked that one so many times, and I'm like, I hate staring at this painting now.
I got a real problem with the fridge, let me tell you.
Yes.
Fridge is so dumb. There's a lot. There's a few things where the obfuscation is obviously just there to try, like, for the game to try to think it's outsmarting you, but it's really just annoying you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that, like the ventilation grid that I give you a hint on, Scott.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it to be that obscure.
Nope.
Yeah. And I vaguely remember getting a text from Scott about the same thing. He's like, "Did you find the ventilation grid?" And I'm like, "Which one?"
And I didn't know at that point. I didn't know there were 2.
Yeah, there's 3. Yeah.
But I know the one that you're talking about, Zach. That is the stupidest thing I have ever seen in one of these types of games.
I only found it because I picked up my controller in a funny way from texting.
I can believe that.
So
let's talk about the elephant in the room a little bit. We're going to have to be very vague. But everybody on the internet's talking about the ending of this story. And I don't know how
Are they talking about the ending or are they talking about the twist? Because I feel like it's different things to me.
Yeah, and we're going to go into more depth on this in the spoiler cast because I have some serious questions. There's some things that don't make any sense. But
that's the game's specialty.
Huh?
That's this game's specialty. Okay,
so I'm not alone. Like, it's not... Like, there's some things that don't add up, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a huge point of frustration, especially in my review. And before anybody tries to chime in, I get the ending. I do. But there are some things that it just breaks its own rules more than once that it establishes, which is something that every writer knows not to do, because your audience can't be invested in the universe you've created if you just change the rules of it on a whim. I can't be invested in the narrative, especially one where you're trying to outsmart the situation. But when the time loop or whatever, or the characters like break the rules that have been established, it doesn't feel like, haha, gotcha. It feels like, well, you kind of cheated, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not fair and it's not fun.
I want to hear your thoughts, though, about the twist specifically in terms of, like, in your review, you're like, you didn't have a problem with it. Like, a lot of the internet read the twist and was like, okay, that game's not for me. I'm definitely not playing that game. Like, I get the impression you don't have a problem with that aspect of it. You get, it feels more like you felt it was wasted. Can you explain what you mean?
I mean, vaguely. This would probably be better handled on the spoiler cast. But
fair enough.
But I'll try to dance around. There's a very large societal taboo at the core of this game's narrative. And yes, a lot of people, you're right, the reaction is just like, oh, I don't want that, or oh, the game lost me there, and stuff like that. But it's a taboo that I find almost interesting, right? Especially if you listen to like my Smirk podcast. We did a whole episode on this taboo, so I guess that's kind of a hint if you are a huge Smirk fan. But it handles it in a way that's not like, oh, here's a theme that we're going for, or here's the point of the narrative, or like, oh, here's what the character's trying to learn in the time loop, which is at the crux of almost every time loop story, right? Is that you're trying to learn a lesson or discover something about themselves.
Right.
None of that happens here. It's purely shock value. And it uses this taboo, right? And it knows it's going to be shocking and grab your attention. But the ending doesn't it doesn't come to a conclusion on the topic at all.
Nope.
It doesn't have a point on this huge thing. And if you are going to use something that to most people, when they hear about, might, throw up in their mouth a little bit, right? Because it's just such a repulsive idea to so many people. Mm-hmm. That if you're going to use it, you have to use it well. You have to make a point, because otherwise you're just coming off as like a middle schooler who's writing a story, like to shock his friends or something, right? Like it's so childish to use that kind of twist in that kind of way.
I kind of agree with you. Again, I haven't seen all the endings, or you said there's 6 endings.
I think there's 6, yeah.
But
I think there's 5, and then that weird one that resets everything, yeah.
But most of the endings that I came across didn't like fundamentally change the outcome, and it never broke the loop either. The ones that I did, I think I came across like 3 or 4 of them, or at least ones that I got an achievement for, like where one actually felt like, oh, I'm actually okay with the ending of this story. This is that seemed final, and then all of a sudden 12 minutes ends and it starts over again, so you haven't broken the time loop.
Right.
But it wasn't like overly interesting. Again, I haven't got the super hard ones, but
yeah, there are a couple endings that are better than the true ending, but none of them arrive at a point or a thematic statement.
Right.
Which is, you don't write a story without a point. Like that's kind of the whole thing, Mm-hmm. But it seems like they had an awesome premise, and they're like, well, let's see what we can do with this, and then just like winged it the whole way through.
I don't know. I get the impression that they had the idea first
of the twist, or of the
I think that was the end goal all along.
But just to shock people, right?
Right.
Like not to say anything. I could see that.
I mean, that's that again. I'm not in these people's minds or anything like that, or
right?
No.
Yeah. You bring up a good point that I hate to be like backseat game designer. It's just this game was frustrating.
I will say to me it feels like there's an ending missing.
Okay.
Yeah, the one with the point.
Well, like you get your twist, and then like it feels that there should be like another one after that to kind of like tie up loose ends and bows.
Well, I had one where I saw the main ending, and then okay, I can see if I can dance around this. You go towards the end of the main game, you go to someplace else, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I found another ending where I went someplace else again, and I'm like, oh, great, this is going to make more sense, and I walked away from that being even more confused than I was playing the main ending. So, I don't know, maybe I really should just push myself and go play the other endings, is the moral of the story here, but anyway.
No, you shouldn't. I think it's the lowest review score I've ever given.
Yeah, you did not like it. Here's the thing is I really enjoyed... I know you were annoyed by the repeating stuff, and some of that did get old. Having to set up the exact same machine multiple times just to be able to make that one change like you're talking about. I get that. But this makes me wish there was a series like this. Like how they've got the what's the Ban of Medan games?
The Dark Pictures Anthology.
Dark Pictures Anthology. I almost wish there was like an anthology of games like this where they did a gameplay loop like this, and they just had another crack at it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, come on, I'm still waiting for the sequel to be announced. 13 minutes.
Sure. I mean, you really could. I mean, at that point, you just one extra minute. I mean, why not? I don't know. I just want to see. I don't want to see this idea given up on, and I wonder if it will, because I think that despite so many people talking negatively about this game, I feel like they could get away with doing another one and maybe refining some of it. And I really hope they do.
Well, I think most of the conversation is going to be about that twist.
Yeah, but that's also getting all of us talking about it. How often does a new game come out that all three of us have not only played but beat? Granted, this is a short game, right?
Right. It's short, and it was included in our Game Pass.
True, exactly. But and I wonder how many people would be talking about if it wasn't included in Game Pass.
I would be vitriolic if I had paid money for this thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't have affected my score, but I would be livid. Like, if this was like a $40 game, I would lose it.
I can't imagine this game being a $40 game.
I think with the amount of hype and the cast it had going in, I think they could have tried.
Here's the weird thing to me. I actually can see sequels being made of this, because from a critic standpoint, this game is scoring really well.
It is.
Yeah, what the hell game are these people playing?
I mean, because I was just like, I wanted to look this up. And like on Metacritic, this is like 79 to 80. Like Game Informer, GameSpot, IGN, all 8s and 9s out of 10. And I'm like, man, I don't see this game being that high.
I didn't dislike it as much as you guys did. I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed the journey. Not as much as the destination.
I'm not saying I didn't dislike it, but it's not. This is not making top 10 of the year for me.
Oh no,
like, it's very middle of the road.
It might make worst 10 games ever played. Might be that.
Wow.
Oof. It's awful. Awful game.
I've been following Zack on Twitter. Like, he just keeps making tweets about how much he hates this game.
The more I think about like the plot holes and the inconsistencies and just the laughable situations, the angrier I get.
I'm really looking forward to doing a spoiler cast on this.
Because
here's the other thing. They always say there's no such thing as bad press.
Uh-huh.
And so even though, like, Zack, you are taking to social media and dumping on this game, people are like, wow, I wonder what he's talking about. They're going to go play this game to find out what you mean.
No, they're going to go YouTube it.
Maybe.
No, because it's free on Game Pass.
Also, it's $25, by the way, if you want to buy it. Just to clear it up, which I would also be mad about.
You would have been mad for $10, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You'd have been mad for $4.99.
I mean, I'm mad for free.
That's true. That's true.
It's
So, recommend? Yes? No?
Hell no.
You know what? It's on. If you have Game Pass, sure. If you don't have Game Pass, nah, bro.
Yeah, I will say don't spend the money on it. Go watch, if you're really that curious, go watch it on YouTube. But if you have Game Pass, check it out for the novelty of the gameplay at least, just so you can see what's going on.
Play it until you reach your first point of frustration and then just walk away. Because it is... Those first, like, 20 minutes are okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're just trying to play around with the loop.
I will... man, there's one thing I want to say... But I don't want to spoil something.
Yeah, save it for afterwards, man. It's a game just came out. We can always do that later.
You know, I'm not a fan of being super negative on this show. Like, this is a rare occurrence, and I think it is well deserved. I think I laid out my points well in the review.
You sure did.
For why I feel the way I feel.
Let's put it this way. I edited Zach's written review. And part of the way that we score here is I read the review and then I contact him and say, I think it reads like this score. Zack actually came back and said, let's do a 0.5 higher. I think you said the Defoe differential or something.
Let's call it the Willem Dafoe bump.
The Willem Dafoe bump, yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, it's weird how divisive this game has been, how some people are just avoiding it like the plague just because of the twist. You know, but there's people that I don't know.
Which I think you should engage in stories and situations that make you uncomfortable.
Right. I'm all for that, yeah.
You should challenge your perceptions of, morality, normality, etc. You shouldn't. But I wish there was a better way to do it.
And you know what's interesting to me is I don't remember any conversations like that. Boy, how am I going to dance around this? About a certain franchise show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this? That I don't remember those conversations being had.
No, not at all, in fact.
So, but, we do it in a video game, and all of a sudden, whoa.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, let's bring that up on the spoiler cast. Guys, listen to the spoiler cast for this one. And
in fact, I think that the other thing I'm talking about glorifies it a lot more than this does. But we'll talk about that in the spoiler cast too. Let's move on because we've been talking about 12 minutes for about 12 minutes. Want to do one other quick review. I sat down with Sean Coates to talk about a game he played for us called Foreclosed. Here are his thoughts. I'm here with Mr. Sean Coates. How you doing, man?
Good, Scott. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. You were here to talk to us about a game that looks really interesting to me, and I think Zack is going to like this one as well. The game is called Foreclosed. It comes from Antab Studios and was provided to us by Evolve PR. Talk to me about Foreclosed because the comic book style looks super appealing to me, but it also is a shooter at the same time. Can you explain to everybody what exactly this game is?
Unfortunately, the comic book style is about all the praise I can give to this game.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Imagine my disappointment, too. The shooting is very bland and basic. There's no real sense of any cover mechanics. I mean, yeah, you can crouch behind things and avoid getting shot at, but, when you're aiming and shooting, your character will just stand upright and will just completely expose himself to enemy fire. And these enemies are bullet sponges, so there are moments like, let's say you have a swarm of enemies in front of you. You're shooting at one a gajillion times, and then the other three are shooting at you, and they don't miss. So it's just a constant thing of aim and shoot, duck, trying to just take down one basic enemy.
And that's just like repeats over and over again.
I'm afraid so, yes.
Wow. I was not expecting that. The art style looks so interesting to me. It looked like there was a lot of shaky cam too while you're playing it, at least from the trailer. Mm-hmm. Does the camera shake quite a bit, and if so, is that distracting?
Not really distracting, but it does kind of shake every time you fire your weapon.
You fire your weapon as well.
Pretty much. I mean, it does, and it also has that art style of every time you fire a weapon, there's actually a splash word, like a blam, every time you fire your pistol.
Mm-hmm. Does that get in the way of your field of vision at all?
Believe it or not, no, actually it doesn't. It's actually it is a nice touch. I will give it that.
Okay. What's the story in Foreclosed? I couldn't really tell from the trailer.
It is hard to grasp. So the trailer is very vague on the story. You play a guy. His name is Evan Kapnos, who the game starts one day. He wakes up and he finds out that his company he works for just goes bankrupt randomly, and it's a world where everybody has cyberware implants, but they work like commodities, where your implants are tied to the state or to the bank, kind of like a house. If you don't make your house payments, if you don't make your mortgage, you'll end up in foreclosure and you'll have to settle your debts with the bank. And
but this time, what's being foreclosed is not a house; it's the actual implants that they've provided for you.
Exactly. And if you don't settle your debts, your implants will be extracted out of you and auctioned off to the highest bidder.
So what do these implants do? Are they keeping you alive, or is that like your weapons?
It's the weapons and your supernatural, superhuman abilities. You can do things like what is actually really cool and actually kind of comes in handy is you can levitate items and lob them at people, kind of like Control.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that sounds like Control.
Mm-hmm. So it has a lot of that, and once you do earn those abilities, the game does get a little bit more fun, but it doesn't really, but the journey getting there to unlock those abilities is not worth the time, in my opinion.
Gotcha. So what are you doing to pay off these debts? I mean, like what's the rationale for running around and shooting people?
Well, it turns out that your character's abilities are kind of one of a kind, and so the guys that are after you are black marketeers, and they're just after your head literally in this case. And and Evan just gets kind of wrapped up in this conspiracy plot about why the company he works for went bankrupt. It came out of nowhere, no warnings or anything, and it's a very suspicious transaction that he just happens to be in the middle of.
Gotcha. Okay. So you did finish the game, correct?
I did, and the campaign is not very long. It can be completed in about 3.5 or 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a very short game.
Did the story wrap up in an interesting way?
Yes and no. It kind of ended abruptly, and you can. I'm told that this does have multiple choice in terms of branching narratives and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I'm sorry to say, I don't think I'll do a second playthrough to see the differences or anything of that sort.
So it sounds like you're not recommending this one.
Unfortunately, I can't. Yeah, there's just so many problems with it, and there's also a very, very basic stealth system that has its issues too. There are some stealth moments that kind of are reminiscent of Metal Gear Solid. We'll go into that. It'll shift into a isometric third-person perspective, right? And it's just frustrating as all hell. And you're at the whim of a very, very unforgiving checkpoint system. So if you screw up at one section, too bad, you'll have to go back and start all over again.
Okay, man. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. It looked very promising from the trailer, and I think you were really excited to play this one.
I was, yeah. Absolutely, this is a very big disappointment. I wish I could. Right. I wish I had better news.
Okay, well, again, that is Foreclosed. Sean, I do appreciate you taking the time to check that one out for us. Hopefully some other people have a better time with it than you did.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, man. Well, you have a good one. Thanks for stopping by.
Take care, man.
Thanks so much, Sean. Just want to remind everybody, I mentioned social media outlets earlier. Our Facebook group is at facebook.com/groups/thegocast. We do have a couple new members over there, Brian Fetty and Brian Balderas. Welcome to the community over there. Also, if you're on Discord, our server, a link to the server is in the show notes for this very episode. And we also ask that you head over and give us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to this show. It helps us get the word out to other people that can listen to it as well. And lastly, our website, thegamingoutsider.com, is where you can find all of our episodes and all of our written reviews, including quite a few that posted this week. We have a review from Josh Ershman on Urban Trial Tricky Deluxe, Thomas's review of Don't Forget Me, Alyssa's review of Bustafellows, Kevin's review of Metal Unit, Alyssa's review of Necro Barista Final Pour, Sean's review of Foreclosed, which you just now heard about, and then Zack's review of 12 Minutes. Be sure to head over to thegamingoutsider.com to check out all of that content. And with that, let's jump into our From the Outside In topic. So last week, I promised that we'd do a topic on something to do with voice actors, and I've seen a meme floating around asking people, and there's a picture of Morgan Freeman on it that says, who would narrate your life if you have a movie based on your life? And I thought we'd take a crack at it from the side of video games. So we're going to share who we and our listeners would like to narrate a video game based on our lives. Either narrate the game or portray you as the main character. So first off, what kind of game would your game be? Got to be creative here, CB.
Well, not really. I can do a simulator game. EMS simulator. Go.
Oh, I want to make a joke that's going to make you so angry, but I'm going to pull it back.
No, go ahead. Do it. Because if you say driver, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. I will drive over your house and I will hit you in the face.
That would be a significant part of it, right?
You mean like the Driver franchise with main character Tanner and all that?
No. He's referring to something in my field that irritates the piss out of all of us.
Oh, okay.
I made the mistake once of calling him an ambulance driver,
and he got hit.
I did. I did not realize that EMTs take offense to that terminology, because they do a lot more than just drive an ambulance. But yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Tell me about your EMS simulator.
Well, I just want, because actually I don't like, of all like this, like there's firefighter simulator, there's police simulators. Like I want an EMS one. Like go like, but it's got to be like realistic, like how we have to do our jobs. Like you'll get dispatched to like, oh, you have a trouble breathing, and you get there and it's like, oh, they've been impaled on a fence.
And
Like-
and it's actually gory. Like it's actually M-rated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But like how to like stabilize, like learn how to stabilize the patient, start IVs, do intubations, give different medications. Like you could learn something on like how much this job kind of sucks sometimes. But I have
Long
a feeling
24-hour
that
shifts.
yeah. Oh man, like that would make it even funnier because like you get back to the station and you're like, I'm gonna start doing something around the station.
And then
And
you
like
get
you're like
then
in
you
the
get a
middle
call.
of doing something. Yep, you get a call. Like you got to sit there and play like a mini game to like boost your energy by eating, and like in the middle of it you get a call.
I think you actually could be onto something for real.
I actually think I'm surprised that nobody's made it because it would actually kind of educate the public on like it could be very, very interesting. But then because it's a game about me. On your days off, you go video game hunting. Another mini game. It's another mini game.
And there's no sleeping.
Yeah,
Just-
no
What was
sleeping.
I say? Wouldn't the more honest game be a point-and-click adventure game as you explore the wormhole that's in your house that allows you to disrupt the space-time continuum?
Don't tell my secrets, man.
Because it's pretty obvious
house
that's
is-
happening.
Apparently, my house is like the TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside. Things work differently in
Your house is
here.
on some ley lines or something, man. Something's going on.
What about you, Zach? What would your game be like?
Well, I mean, I guess it would just be like Coffee Talk with less vampires.
Yeah.
There are some customers as Harry's werewolves though, so we'll go ahead and say that. But I mean, I feel like that's about it, right? Like it's just like a slice of life talking simulator, which great. Which is also terrible because I hate getting trapped by a customer sitting at the bar, just trying to chat my ear off about their day, and I just don't care. Hope they're listening.
You're not a super chatty unless you know you kind of person. You know what I mean? I can sit and have a conversation with you, but with strangers.
What? And I don't, and I guess I don't mind conversing. I'm conversing every week on this show, but it is just like, dude, I don't care that it's hot outside. You don't have to tell me about how sweaty it was when you biked down here. I just don't care. It's very frustrating.
Yeah. So yours would be a dialogue choosing game.
Yeah, it would be. I guess you haven't played like Bar Oasis or Coffee Talk, I think, and then I guess there would be a mini game on my days off where I go comic book collecting. Just to be the other side of the coin to CB over there.
I really want to play your game just so I could see like how annoying I could like go down the conversation chat holes.
Right, there's a rage meter you have to keep under control.
Get like fill Zach's rage meter till he hits somebody in the face with a coffee pot.
Yeah,
No, I didn't play Coffee Talk. I know that is one where you actually do get to make coffee. Is it true to life? Like, do you
It's not. It's super simplified in Coffee Talk, so I would think it'd be a little bit more involved here.
like where you can actually make like the latte art and stuff like that?
Right, and control the grind of your espresso beans.
Yeah.
And you're watching the timer to make sure the shot's pulling right. And you want to make sure it drips to a single stream and all that good stuff. All that stuff that I care about against my own will. You know, and then you have to try to lower your rage meter by, grabbing a quick bite, but as soon as you do, 4 customers walk in and all of them don't know how to order, so you're just really combating. Yeah, I guess it's just like a rage meter the whole time. Yeah, that makes sense.
I like it. Like a reverse stamina meter. It's a rage meter.
Right. And the objective of the game is to see how long you can last. But then you can just rifle through the Green Arrow and Green Lantern comics at a local shop to calm down.
I'm sorry, but it just hit me. You could call it the no F's meter.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning of the day, you have so many to give, and as the day goes on, I have no more to give.
That's great. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
That could be the name of your game.
No F's left to give.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
I like it.
I would buy that in a heartbeat.
All right, well, I'll be announcing my new game soon.
As for me, I mean, the easy answer is, something to do with education, which I don't feel like would be. I mean, you could just do like classroom management simulator, right?
I was thinking like is a game dev story? Is that the mobile game where you run a game development studio?
Yes.
We could just be classroom story.
It could. Yeah, I could see that. But I think the more interesting thing, I mean, yeah, with a classroom, you could even look at like, creating lesson plans and trying to make a schedule for this and that, and dealing with making phone calls home and dealing with angry parents that are blaming you for their kids failing, and I don't know, or dealing with office politics. So we could, I don't know. It's the same story with all three of us, just like things that we deal with on a daily basis that, could we gamify it and make it interesting? I think what would be more interesting with a game based on my life is just a normal management style game. Something like, Overcooked, like an Overcooked style game, but with just all the things that I'm constantly putting my hands into in terms of like doing, 2 podcasts a week, going to work, coming home and making dinner, and trying to go to D&D night every other Thursday, and do stuff around the house. Like it'd just be like, just to see like an overhead view of how insanely busy I keep myself, and maybe that would be a wake up call to try to pull it back a little bit. But
what's your day off simulator? Mowing the lawn?
No, because I mean, I do enjoy it, but my day off, no, because that's like part of my. I literally have that on a checklist on my phone, man. You guys know how I like checklists, and by the way, my game would have to have checklists in it. I literally have reminders on my phone each week. One of them is to mow the lawn. One is to fill the bird feeders. One is to feed the cat every day at 3:00. I mean, I literally I need a reminder to do all that stuff.
3:00, feed cat. 3:13, twirl hair for 5 minutes while staring out window.
Shut up. My hair is starting to grow back finally, by the way. No, like my day off. Boy, what do I do on my day off? I mean, I play video games, right? Huh?
Make jam?
Make jam? Make masks? Making masks again, by the way.
Are you?
Got about 50 or 60 of them to make for school. So that's what I'm doing all day Wednesday. I don't know. I mean, music. I listen to music. I like to play games with my friends. I like to play games. I like to play pinball. My day off will be just Pinball FX right there in the built in right in the game.
Yeah, a little co-deal with Zen Studios.
Oh, that'd be awesome. So, the meat and potatoes of this. We've all talked about what game we're gonna have. Which voice actor would you like to have narrate your game or play your character in your game? I was looking forward to this one. Zach, let's start with you.
Well, I mean, I hate to be a total cliche, but especially in this Coffee Talk Rage game, I think having my internal monologue by Michael Ironside would be great. But all the damage I wish I could be doing to these people.
As you slowly get angrier and angrier.
Right, yeah, and he just starts getting more and more gravelly as time goes on.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty great.
I like it. CB?
And I was just say I hate to pick like a celebrity voice actor, not just someone classically within the medium. But I feel like to us, especially like the last 20 years, I think he's more known for voice acting than he is acting.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to give myself a pass.
Oh, I'm getting a celebrity one too, man. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm going way off the rails on this one. So
I mean, all the love in the world to our voice acting friends. I just want to say that.
Yeah. So if I had to choose, so for narration, I would want. Oh God, I just had his name pulled up. It is John Shepard.
All right, you're gonna have to help me out.
He's the guy that narrates a Christmas Story.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Just because I want it to be a little off the wall because it's going to be a nutty game.
Is he still around? I
don't think so. I I have no idea. So, but I would want him.
Speaking of side tangent, totally somewhat related. Before you get off on that the Christmas Story thing, did you know the show The Wonder Years with Fred Savage?
Yeah.
Do you know who did the narration in that?
Same guy,
No,
wasn't it?
no.
Who?
It was the guy from Home Alone that played Marv. I can't remember the actor's name.
Oh, Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern is the narrator on The Wonder Years. I never knew that
wow.
until I watched it a few years ago. I was like, that whole time it's been Daniel Stern. Like, I had no idea. But anyway, go ahead.
But the more I thought about this, I would want my game to be live action, like kind of like Wales Interactive Studio.
Oh, like a full motion video type thing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're going full on, and there's only two people that, like, if I had to choose like a better looking version of me, I want Dennis Leary.
All right.
Well, have you ever seen the show Rescue Me?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Boom.
His cousin, right? The dead cousin
Yeah.
that he hallucinates. That's Max Payne.
Oh.
James McCaffrey. Fun fact.
Nice. And then your character could go to Zack's barista in his game and say he wants some coffee-flavored coffee.
And then I would throw the pot at his head.
But if I had to choose somebody that looks a little bit more like me, Patrick McKenna.
Patrick McKenna. Help me out.
From The Big Green and Sandlot.
Oh, okay. Is he still acting?
Yeah. I follow him on TikTok. He's hilarious.
I did not know he was still acting. That's great. He was so good. He was like a part of my childhood, man.
I know. That's one of the reasons I started following him on there. And like, he still cracks all kinds of jokes, and he actually owns like the same kind of dog from The Sandlot.
Oh, really?
Yep.
The Sandlot is such a good movie.
It is.
All right, so you've got... Okay, you're going to have to back up. Dennis Leary is portraying you physically because it's full motion video.
Either him or Patrick McKenna.
Okay.
Like, or just put them together, and that would be me and my partner on the ambulance. Like, that's who I would want.
So your
because
game is going to be
salty.
Your game is going to be full motion video, and it's going to you're going to have an entire open world that's full motion video.
Hell yeah, let's do it, man. This is my dream, man.
Okay.
Money is no option.
I was going to say
doing
this is going to be a multi-billion-dollar game to have full motion video. Okay. All right.
So, but yeah, that's what I want.
All right.
And
I don't know who I would have voice me. That's weird. I was just thinking that.
Christopher Judge.
Wow, is that deep, huh? Thank you so much.
No. I just think it'd be funny just having like Kratos serving coffee.
You just have John St. John do it, man.
Anyway.
No. You'd have John St. John doing an impression of Zack doing an impression of Duke Nukem.
Wow, that's good. That's deep.
That's really funny. Okay, so for me, narrating my life, got to go with Wayne Henderson of Media Voiceovers, right? MediaVoiceovers.com.
Shut up.
My co-host on the Packers Fan Podcast. Come on. Shout out to Wayne.
In a world,
yeah.
Yeah, he did the remake trailers. Yeah. For remake this movie, right? R.I.P. to that podcast.
I know. I don't know why. That was a great podcast. I had a lot of fun doing some of those episodes. Anyway, for real skis, I'm going with the low-hanging fruit, but Roger Craig Smith.
That's great. As a narrator of your life,
he is. If you've ever listened to, he does a bumper for us, and he does this bit where he's like, "This is naturally sounding voice actor Roger Craig Smith." Like, I just want that voiceover, almost like a Deadpool breaking the fourth wall kind of thing, like just walking through like everything I do, kind of like in Bastion. You know how the narrator in that game just like narrates everything that character does in that game? The kid just rages for a little while. You know what I'm talking about? But him doing that in like a quirky, like Saturday morning cartoon kind of voice, I think would be hilarious. Just like
Meanwhile,
wasn't that Casey Kasem?
I don't know.
That did the Hall of Justice. Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice.
No idea.
Could have been.
I could be wrong.
I wasn't alive then.
Not watching the Legion of Superheroes, whatever the hell that was.
Super Friends.
Super Friends. Yeah, not going to watch that.
Yeah. I think I heard a bit from Frank Caliendo. He does a bit on that because he does an impression of him. It's pretty. Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice, Aquaman's making a peanut butter sandwich because he can't do shit.
Oh my god!
Oh, boy.
You can cut that out. Anyway.
No, we just hit the beat button.
Now Aquaman, he somehow has a video game. Wonder Woman, no thank you.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Doesn't make any sense. That didn't make any sense. Anyway, yeah, Roger Craig Smith would narrate my game just because I love like I said, the Saturday morning cartoon feeling to it, just like of all the like the banal stuff that I do throughout the day and try to juggle life. I just would really like that to happen. And then Sissy Jones in there for like the voice of reason. Like I want two characters narrating my game, kind of like an angel and a devil on your shoulder.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yes, I mean Sissy seems like another low hanging fruit.
Oh yeah, totally low hanging fruit. But I wasn't gonna go through and do a voice actor in my game and not mention Sissy. So
there's a woman who should be playing Wonder Woman in a game,
right?
Ooh, I think we need to start a Twitter campaign for that.
I mean, for like the voice she's doing for Fury is not too far off. You know,
I agree.
All right, starting campaign. Sissy Jones for Wonder Woman.
I think all three of us should just make a tweet tomorrow. Be like,
yep. Hashtag Sissy for Wonder Woman.
Yeah. At Sissy Jones for Wonder Woman.
Sissy, the number 4 WW. Let's make it happen.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, that's what we wanted to do for our voice actors in our games, but let's see what our listeners said. Starting over on Facebook, I'll go first with Sean Coates' comment. He says, I'm not sure who'd ever want to play a game based on my life, but I'd like it to be narrated by Stephen Fry, narrator on Little Big Planet for those unfamiliar, and perhaps Adam Scott can play me. I feel like I can relate most to Ben Wyatt when I watch Parks and Rec, since he too is a true geek, much like Adam Scott in real life. Adam Scott, I feel like in most of them, when I see him in movies, he just plays a complete a-hole. But he seems like the nicest guy in person.
Well, and then in Parks and Rec, he is just like a nice guy.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, I'm thinking, oh man, Walter Mitty, he was just like a complete jerk. Step Brothers, remember him in Step Brothers, which is a ridiculous movie, but like he was just such an awful human being. And then, like you said, Parks and Rec, completely different. All right, CB, you're next up.
So, Scott Bors, I want Lane Compton, who played John Donovan in Mafia 3, to play and voice me. He has the right amount of sarcasm and wit to portray me. The only thing this game would need is a really great writer, because I don't feel like I am at all interesting.
Nobody,
Scott and Sean.
Nobody with a sane head thinks of themselves as interesting enough to base the game on. I just want to establish that. Scott, Sean, you're great.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let them know. Just want a little positivity. All right?
Yeah. Because Alyssa's not here to do it for us.
Well, I mean, yeah, these guys are pooping all over themselves, and I won't have it.
By the way,
don't do it.
Speaking of positivity and Alyssa, if you just wanted to like have just nothing but positivity in your Twitter feed, follow Alyssa on Twitter. Like she spends the majority of her day just like propping people up, just telling them how awesome they are and what great people they are. Genuinely brightens my day seeing her cheer people on.
I just randomly send her a message sometimes, and she'll just say something back, and I'm like, I feel better about my day.
I know. She's such a sweetheart.
All right, let's rein it in, guys. Come on.
Go ahead, Zach.
Christy Vasquez Flores says, narrated by Logan Cunningham, the narrator from Bastion, and personified by Laura Bailey in the style of Kaine. There's your bingo card. Or Ashley Johnson, Ellie, The Last of Us. Sissy in any style would be an absolute honor as well. I think all three of them will pull off the pain, perseverance, but also empathy, kindness, and motherhood.
Interesting answer.
Laura Bailey could narrate anybody's life because she hardly ever sounds like herself in any two games.
Seriously.
She's a chameleon of her voice. It's insane.
Very versatile, for sure. From Discord, Daniel Gilmore says, Steve Bloom stole my heart during the Cowboy Bebop Toonami days of my youth, I'd recognize that voice anywhere and would be honored if he narrated my life story. He posted a
Hell
picture.
yeah. Steve Bloom's great. Spike Spiegel, great. He also voiced Hal Jordan in the Injustice games, so he gets bonus points there.
Nice. CB?
This next comment I have to agree with wholeheartedly because I don't think this could go any other way. Nate Lucas, our producer, there would be no better person to narrate my life than Jack Black. Enough said.
And if you know Nate, our producer, personally, that is a very, very accurate statement.
Coming right ahead.
Especially after last Thursday.
Oh my goodness, we had I don't want to call it D&D night because we barely played any D&D, but it was a good time.
I really thought that was going to be a story about Jack Black somehow.
Yeah, Jack Black just showed up to our D&D campaign.
I wouldn't put it past him.
That would be like the greatest thing ever.
CB would literally crap himself if that happened.
He could play Droop.
We got a little. What is he? Is he a?
He's a goblin.
Goblin.
He's my battle goblin. He just rides around on my shoulder.
All right.
Doesn't do anything.
CJ Moore says, most people probably know Nathan Fillion from his lead roles in Firefly and Castle. I know him best from the cult musical Dr. Horrible Sing-Along blog, and consequently began picking out his voice from some of my favorite video games, Destiny, Halo ODST, Jade Empire. I really like him for my pick because A, he has the right amount of irreverence and dorky humor that my life would require, and B, my guy can sing. And my life story would inevitably include a few new musical numbers. There's another guy who's voiced Hal Jordan in a number of projects, so another thumbs up from me.
This is my favorite answer, by the way. The fact that he's going to make his video game a musical somehow is just... I like that. It's good.
Have you guys seen Dr. Horrible Sing-Along blog?
Everyone tells me to watch it, and
it's good.
I've never watched it.
No,
I don't get it. I guess I never made it through an entire episode, so I guess I'm going to have to. And I like Neil Patrick Harris. Isn't that that's where it's from, right?
Yeah, PH is in that. Felicia Day is the female lead. And then, Nathan Fillion is the superhero / antagonist, who has a great song where he said, everyone's a hero in their own way. You and mostly me and you.
Well, thanks to everybody for the comments and suggestions there. Really do appreciate it. Next week's topic, I haven't even told these guys yet, but we're going to be a week late on this, but today is literally the 30th anniversary of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Why are you giving me that look?
I thought you were about to say the 30th anniversary of the show, and that didn't seem right.
No.
Because whenever you do a show that is just me, you're like, nope, CB won't be there that week.
You can write in an answer. How about that? Or you could just take off work, one of the two.
I mean, I've done that before. But
Don't do that for real. I don't want that on my conscience. I do not
call in from the ambulance.
That'd be fun.
I'll just set up and start recording from the ambulance. All of a sudden, you'll just hear the sirens going, be like, sorry.
Like Nate can edit that out. Post would be great.
That's not supposed to look like that. What'd you do?
So next week's
are
topic
his
is going to
intestines
be...
supposed to be outside?
So next week we're going to be talking about that classic system. I'm going to have Zack do some research and have some interesting facts about.
Do one of my little history lessons.
Yeah,
those are fun. I love those. I love doing the research for those.
I love listening to it because you come up with really interesting stuff about whenever we do that. So
I go a lot further than just a Wikipedia page. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I believe it.
I dig.
So we'll be talking about some of our favorite games from that and maybe some memories, and we're going to ask the community for some specifics as well. I know I posted on social media today just before I knew I was going to do this as the topic, so but I'll try to get a little bit more specific when we come to next week. So stay tuned on the social medias for that topic for next week. I'm looking forward to that because Super Nintendo is one of my favorite consoles of all time. I'm looking forward to talking about it. And 30 years blows my mind.
That'll be fun because I have almost no emotional attachment to it at all.
Yeah, so it'll be a fun conversation going back and forth. But you'll be doing the research. You'll be doing the history lessons, so you'll still enjoy it.
Right? Yeah. No, it'll be fun. Good combo.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Gaming Outsider. Zach, any parting words, suggestions, or anything for our community before we get out of here?
I'm going to lay down Stargirl, which is on HBO Max, and it's also on CW Season 2. I watched a couple episodes when it first came out, and then life kind of got out from under me. But I started watching this show because there is the first live-action Green Lantern since the Ryan Reynolds movie in Season 2, which is unfathomable that it took 10 years. But it's actually a really great show. It is because it was originally for DC's short-lived streaming service, and Season 1 is far better than the majority of CW show. You could tell they have a bigger budget, and Season 2 is carrying that through because it's co-financed by HBO. But it's just good old superhero storytelling. If you like reading comics, it's one of the most successful shows I've seen that feeling like a comic book come to life.
Nice. I wasn't expecting that at all.
It's really great. It even has because comics have to be silly with their timelines, just because Captain America fights in World War II, or the comic book origin, right? Iron Man fought in Vietnam or whatever, but you just have to deal with that being canon to him being in the modern day, but still somehow 25. They even kind of play around with that a little bit in kind of a fun way. It really is for comic book fans. It gets pretty dark, but it really is about some hope and heartwarming message. And Luke Wilson's in it, and he's friggin' phenomenal and everything.
I feel wait, Luke Wilson?
Yeah, Luke Wilson.
Owen Wilson's brother?
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
I was mixing him up with somebody else, so never mind. Yeah, he is good. I do like him a lot. All right, CB, how about you?
I've also been on the TV kick lately, catching up on TV shows that I've missed, and I've been watching Designated Survivor.
Oh yeah, you talked about
Kiefer Sutherland,
24 the President. Man, I am really surprised at how well written that show is. It's actually got me to shed a tear a couple times.
Wow. Okay.
I was not expecting that.
What platform is it on?
Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Right, because I think Netflix is one of those things where they picked it up for season 4 or something, right? I want to say.
I think originally, I don't know if they're still doing a season 4 though.
Oh, is there only 3? Okay, well.
But there's 3 seasons, and I started it last week, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through season 2, and it's really good.
Nice.
That's awesome to hear. I loved 24.
That is a show I've never watched.
I watched the first couple seasons, but man, if you like 24, you will like Designated Survivor.
All right, yeah. I mean,
because it's nothing but just how much can we throw at this guy? Come on.
I like that. Okay, all right. You kind of sold me.
As for me, I know we're all doing TV shows or movies or whatever this week, but I watched a movie that's not brand new, but I somehow missed, and I was shocked at how good it was. And you guys are going to probably, as soon as I say the title, you're going to no duh, Scott. Of course, but Hereditary. Have you guys seen that movie?
No.
Yeah.
I have not.
I've seen it.
Oh, man. I was not expecting that movie. Holy cow.
Is it good? Because it looks like pretentious dribble.
It's really good up until the very, very end. It just kind of goes, really? But the lead up and I don't know if you've seen. I saw a meme that ruined a scene for the movie for me that I kind of knew was coming. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but try to go into the movie knowing nothing. And that is a messed up movie, man. There is
some of the best horror suspense.
Seriously.
I've seen in a very, very long time.
And boy, Toni Collette is outstanding in that movie. The kid that was in Jumanji is in it. I don't remember the actor's name. The lead character and not the new Jumanji.
Oh, okay.
Not the original Jumanji.
I really did think you meant the original.
No. The newer ones. Man, there's some imagery, and they don't pull any punches with some of the stuff in this movie. And wow.
I'm sorry. I would like to walk back that I call it pretentious dribble because I had it confused with Midsummer in my brain.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that because I was looking at Midsummer. I always get those two mixed up. And I thought it was
okay,
just
so
me.
I'm not alone. All right.
And I haven't seen Midsummer, and I decided to watch Hereditary instead because I heard that Midsummer is like a half an hour too long. And
Yeah, don't waste your time.
Really?
No.
Because I just hear it's messed up, and I just want to see. I'm curious to see what's so messed up about it.
I mean, if you want to see messed up, I can recommend some movies.
Oh yeah, Audition. I still haven't seen.
Oh yeah, you need to watch The Audition.
Yeah.
Vulgar. Messed up.
No. I kind of get the torture porn.
We'll talk about it.
No,
we'll talk about it off air.
I was recommending the movie Vulgar.
Oh! I thought you were asking if it was vulgar, but
Which is
have you seen The Audition, Zach?
I've never heard of it. All right, we'll talk off mic. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and get out of here. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening. Want to remind you that The Gaming Outsider is produced by Mr. Nate Lucas, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. That website is stemagemusic.com, STEMAGE music.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson and Chris Behrensmeyer, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.